NFL Week 16 has come to an end. We have our latest power rankings using our proprietary mathematical formula. We're going to jump right in here. Number 32 on the list, the Indianapolis Colts. They drop one spot. They lost to the Chargers with a pitiful offensive performance, 20-3. Nick Foles with 3 interceptions, and the defense gives up 2 touchdowns to Austin Eckler. At number 31, also down one spot, the Chicago Bears. They lost to the Buffalo Bills, 35-13. A defensive struggle. The defense struggled mightily against the Bills, giving up 254 rushing yards. Next up on the list, down 2 spots from last week, the Arizona Cardinals. They fell to Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in overtime, 19-16. Trace McSorley's first start didn't go the way he had hoped, and really for the Cardinals, the offense was Matt Prater and James Conner. Up 3 spots on our list to number 29, the Houston Texans. A big win for them. They defeated the Tennessee Titans 19-14. The Texans only averaged 2.3 yards rushing per play, but were somehow able to get the job done and get the W. Down one spot from last week at number 28, the New Orleans Saints. Even though they come away with a win, 17-10 over the Cleveland Browns, they still drop one spot. They lead the league in turnover differential, actually tied with the Indianapolis Colts at -12. At number 27 on the list, down 2 spots from last week, the Atlanta Falcons. Desmond Ridder from the University of Cincinnati gets his second start, not able to get the job done against a very, very good Ravens defense. They lose 17-9. The biggest change on our list this week, up or down. This case, unfortunately, down for the Denver Broncos. They drop 8 spots to land at number 26 on the list. They got blown out. Baker Mayfield and the LA Rams, 51-14. Russell Wilson's struggles continue. The Tennessee Titans are down 2 spots on the list from 23 down to 25 this week as they lose to the Houston Texans. Malik Willis didn't have a great passing debut. He threw 2 interceptions, only threw for 99 yards, but he did combine with King for a nice rushing day. Moving up 5 spots on the list with a blowout win that we just mentioned, the LA Rams. They are 24 this week. Again, they defeated the Broncos 51-14. They really are the team of the week. Anytime an NFL team can score over 50 points, it's quite amazing. I don't really care who you're playing. Baker was efficient. He certainly wasn't anything outstanding. Tyler Higbee, 2 touchdowns. Cam Akers added 3. Down 2 spots this week from 21 down to number 23, the New York Jets. My guy, Sauce Gardner, they are not able to get it done offensively. They lost to the Jaguars 19-3. Pretty good defensive effort, but Zach Wilson, just an abysmal performance. Yeah, this offseason, the Jets, you need to get your defense some help. Down 6 spots from last week. They were 16. Now they're 22. The Las Vegas Raiders. They lose a close one to the Steelers, 13-10. Derek Carr, 3 interceptions. Josh Jacobs held to 44 yards and 2.9 per carry. The Steelers defense, just like I've mentioned in the previous episode with the AFC North and the Ravens, just simply always good. Down 1 spot from last week, the Cleveland Browns come in at number 21. They lost to the New Orleans Saints 17-10. Sean Watson, was he outdueled by Andy Dalton? Fortunately, I think he was, even though maybe barely. 15 of 31 passing. He had an interception, and he only threw for 4.4 yards per pass play. All right, another big drop on our list, the Miami Dolphins from 15 down to 20 this week. They lost to the Green Bay Packers, 26-20. Tua, man alive, 3 interceptions. Lost fumble by Raheem Mostert at the end gives the Packers the win. Cracking the top 20 this week, huge jump, up 7 spots. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They defeated the Cardinals 19-16 in OT, but Brady, his 3rd game in a row with 2 interceptions. Who would have thought we could ever say that about Tom Brady? But yes, it is true. Ugly win, but a win is a win. All right, nearly even with last week, just down 1 spot. The Washington Commanders pretty much handled, blown out by the San Francisco 49ers, but really no shame in that, as good as the 49ers are this year. Heineke got benched in this game for Carson Wentz, so that is certainly not a good sign, but really no rushing game, held to 2.4 per carry. The Commanders, they're still a solid team. I think a little help here and a little help there, and they can certainly be a contender next season. At number 17 on the list, another significant jump, just like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The 7 spots of a jump here. The Carolina Panthers go from 24-17 with their handling of the Detroit Lions, 37-23. They had an absolutely Unbelievable run game. 43 attempts, 320 yards, 7.4 per carry. Holy moly, unbelievable. They also had 3 touchdowns. Foreman and Hubbard both over 100 yards for the game. They were number 14 last week. They dropped this week to 16. The Seattle Seahawks lost to the Kansas City Chiefs 24-10. Really just a subpar performance all around by the Seahawks. Geno, Kenneth Walker, DK. They played well, but just when you're going against the Chiefs, you need to play better than well. You need to be firing on all cylinders, and they were just not able to get it done. All right, we've seen this a few times before. We're going to see it again. Another 7-spot jump in the list. Number 22 last week. Number 15 this week, the Pittsburgh Steelers. A defensive struggle. Kenny Pickett is back, and man, this defense there's something. They're right there on the cusp of the playoffs. And certainly a scary team. I don't think anybody wants to match up with them in the playoffs, let alone the Bengals. That's always the one team I don't want to see in the playoffs because we can never seem to get by them, but see how things play out. All right, we are on the cusp of the top 10. Our first team loses 3 spots from last week, coming in at number 14. The New York Giants, they lost to the Vikings on a walk-off field goal, 27-24. Really, really good performances by Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, but just not able to control the clock enough at the end of the game to get the Giants to win. All right, another significant jump on the list here, up 6 spots from 19 to 13. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers get the job done. I don't know if Green Bay got the job done or if Miami gave the game away. I watched that full game and Tua was not sharp. The game really though for the Packers, it's not like they were world beaters. Mason Crosby carried them to the win, as well as a nice 93-yard kick return by Nixon. Our first team last week that was in the top 10 and is now out. The mathematical formula drops the Detroit Lions down 3 spots. They were 9. They are now 12 as they lose to the Carolina Panthers 37-23. Jared Goff, man, he's continuing to have a really, really good season. He lit it up, 355 yards, 3 touchdowns. But man, the Detroit defense couldn't stop the run. They gave up 320 yards and 3 touchdowns. All right, coming off the heels of a Monday night victory, the LA Chargers are up 1 spot. Number 12 last week. They are number 11. Defeating the hapless Colts 20-3. Nick Foles kind of gave the Chargers the game. 3 interceptions. Austin Eckler certainly carried the Chargers to the win with 2 touchdowns. Okay, and now we embark on the top 10. There are 2 teams in the top 10 that are mathematical formula deemed. Even after a loss, they would bump into the top 10. The first being number 10 on our list, up 3 spots from last week, the New England Patriots. Mac Jones, he was solid. He hit on a Hail Mary that the Bengals shouldn't have allowed. And really, the Ramondre Stevenson fumble at the end of the game sealed the deal for the Bengals. It was a tale of 2 halves. Really, the Patriots gave the Bengals this win. The Patriots probably should have taken home the W. Slowly inching their way up into the top 10. They were number 10 last week. They are 9 this week. The Jacksonville Jaguars, a dominant defensive effort. They gave the Jets only 227 total yards of offense. That's not passing, it's not rushing, it's everything. So the Jags certainly on the right track as the playoffs are on the horizon, and they're in good company as the team 1 spot ahead of them. They stay even from last week. Number 8, the Kansas City Chiefs, defeating the Seattle Seahawks 24-10. Nothing really overwhelming statistically. The Chiefs are just good everywhere, and Patrick Mahomes, even though I argue Jalen Hurts is the MVP this year, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback, if not the best player in football. I don't think that is disputable. And Patrick throws for 2 TDs in this game and also ran for an addition. Just like the Chiefs, the Minnesota Vikings are even. They are number 7. They were 7 last week. They come off the heels of a 27-24 win over the New York Giants. It was the walk-off field goal that I mentioned earlier by Greg Joseph. Kirk Cousins is on point. I think I mentioned it last week. He's not great, but he's not bad. He's very, very good. He's always solid. Justin Jefferson with 133 yards and a TD. TJ Hawkinson adds 2 more. Our 3rd team in a row that does not move from last week. The Baltimore Ravens come in at number 6. They defeated the Atlanta Falcons 17-9. Tyler Huntley managed the game, which is really all you need to do when you have a defense like the Ravens. Their solid running game also carried them to the win. And we now embark on the top 5. Our first team actually down 1 spot from last week. Even though they won the game, The Cincinnati Bengals really should not have won the game. As I mentioned before, the New England Patriots seemed like they wanted it more in a very, very sloppy game by the Bengals. They barely hold on for the win. Jamar Chase, I think he ran the wrong route one time that led to an interception. Then he had a fumble, so he struggled. Burrow, good as always, 375 yards and 3 touchdowns, and they needed every bit of that to hang on for the win. Also down one spot from last week, the Buffalo Bills. Their dominant performance against the Chicago Bears, 35-13. They had a balanced running attack with Singletary, Cook, and Allen all getting TDs. The 254 yards rushing is outstanding by any measure, but the 8.2 average per carry is what is off the charts, so kudos to the Buffalo Bills. All right, one of the major reasons the Bills and the Bengals dropped, even though they won, was because of the Dallas Cowboys. A big win for them over last week's number 1 team in the power rankings, the Philadelphia Eagles. They come away with a 40-34 win. Really thought this should have been a bigger win since Jalen Hurts did not play. I mean, Dak played really well. Gardner Minshew played really well. They really matched up evenly together, but Minshew lost 2 fumbles and threw 2 interceptions, which was the difference in the game. And then speaking of the Philadelphia Eagles, they dropped 1 spot from last week. They were the number 1 team in our power ratings. They are now number 2 with their loss to the Cowboys. As I mentioned, Gardner Minshew, really a valiant effort. But the 2 lost fumbles and 2 interceptions to still lose by 6 is very impressive when you give the ball away 4 times. And that means Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers take the top spot on our list this week. They move up 1. A solid game by Brock. Defense, oh my gosh, I mean, just unbelievable. Number 1 defense in football by far. They allowed 2.4 yards per carry for the Commanders. The 37-20 blowout win. 49ers looking like true Super Bowl contenders. Can Brock Purdy lead them to the Super Bowl? And can he get the job done in the Super Bowl? Man, what a mess the 49ers have on their hands for next season. I mean, you've got Brock Purdy, Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance. If Brock Purdy carries them into the playoffs and even gets a win or 2, I don't know how you don't go with him next season. But, I mean, I guess it's a great problem to have. You know, hey, many teams would love to be in this position. But there you have it, guys. Let me know. Comment below. What do you think of this week's power ratings? Give me any of your thoughts in the comments below. I would truly appreciate it. If you have not subscribed to the channel and like this sort of content, please subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe but you made it this far, at least do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. I would appreciate that. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.